It's a June 8th garden update. Just gonna do a quick little run of the garden. See the snap peas in the back, tomatoes in the front. And actually you can see that's all the trimming that I did this morning. And the reason behind that is if you look at the tomato plants and you want to reduce the diseases, you trim out everything, not too much on each plant because I still have more to do, but I took maybe too much off of that plant. But you want to see that air flowing underneath those plants. You'll reduce disease. And then when the lawn starts growing and I cut it, I take the clippings and I fill up all underneath there with the clippings. Does two things. Releases nitrogen into the ground, gives a nice mulch to hold the moisture in, brings in earthworms, releases and it cuts down the weeds, sorry. Keeps the weeds down to nothing. I don't even have to do any weeding. And it's just free grass clippings off of my lawn. Anyway. Let's go down further. Everything is looking extremely healthy. Dark green, full, rich. And by the way, last video I never talked about these, but these are all basils, different kinds. I have two different kinds. A Genovese and a large leaf. I don't think the large leaf did as well as the Genovese. They seem to attract more bugs or something. Now the peppers, they're doing extremely well. And one YouTuber talked about cutting the tops off of the pepper plants. So I did it on a couple. And here's one right here that the top has been cut off of it. And it really is sprouting a lot more, which could increase production. But here's one that wasn't cut off, and they're popping up anyway. Not as much, but they're there. Now, I personally like lifting all my, well, not all of them, but most of my vegetable plants as high off the ground as I can to reduce diseases. Now, this may cause more stems lower and more leaves lower to the ground. I don't know. I'm trying it. Never did it before. See what happens. But looking all very, very healthy. Nice deep green. Some of the leaves are getting pretty big. Very rich looking. Okay. There's a giant Belgium. Looking really, really good. I think this is the Genovese basil right here. It's a yellow pearl, black crim. I like, so far, black crim seem to be the most healthy, strongest, vibrant plants to start. Now, I don't know how that's going to end up because I'm only a short way away from some kind of bugs or some kind of diseases or some kind of something to change this whole garden around. That's a pink brandywine. And some of these you could see very strong. This is going to be, if all those if all those guys in there, that's a lot of tomatoes right there. But that usually never happens, so who knows. And the peas, my goodness. These are all sweet snap peas. They are just going insane. Insane. You'll see them all. They're just everywhere. And you gotta pick these, because the more you pick, as soon as they get to the right, I mean, I've been eating them, but as soon as they get to the right size and flavor, then most of them will get picked off the vine. And this guy is about 6 foot tall. I'll be saving his seeds. And here we go. This is a, I know I'm saying it wrong, but a Principe Borge, who the heck knows? I don't know. Anyway, that's my first tomato of the season that I found. There could be more, but so. Now this is a determinate plant, which means it's only going to grow so high it's going to fruit all at once, and you'll have a huge harvest all at once. And this leans more towards a canning tomato or a paste tomato. But I never tried it. I don't know anything about it. It's first year. I have high hopes, but I have high hopes on a lot of things that never work out. Okay, let's see. The everything looking just really vibrant, very good. I just pulled the nets off of the zucchinis this morning because I had one good, well, several things. I had one good male flower, so I was able to pollinate by hand a lot of the females. And then I cut away all the bad leaves and did some weeding. And also let the plants stretch out a little bit because they were covered with the nets. And actually, is that the male right there? Yeah, there's the male flower right there. That's a single stem. And that's the male guy, and inside there is all the pollen that you take over to the female plant. Let's see. Oh, there's a female plant over there. Actually, that's not a good picture because it almost looks like a single stem, but the female has the fruit. The fruit's connected to that, or the vegetable, whatever you want to call it. That's connected. And the males don't have any vegetable connected to it. Now some of these let's see, actually, there's a good female right there. That's a good female. And she's waiting for the pollen, which I already gave her this morning. And as I said the other day, that everything that didn't get pollinated will just dry up at the tip and die. And you'll see, these guys are just, they're dead because they never got pollinated. They just dry up at the tips. There's another one in there. And I probably lost, because of the cardinals eating my male flowers, I probably lost 50, 60 zucchinis that I wasn't able to bring to maturity because there was no male pollination. Oh, there's another female right there. Let's see. You'll see the fruit on it, or the vegetable. Okay, continuing on. I changed out all of the dirt in this bed and put the peppers back in. The eggplants back in, and then now they're starting to thrive. They're looking good. Now, these are a little behind. They should be a lot higher, probably 6-8 inches taller, but they'll catch up. The weather's warm. They'll start to catch up. Cucumbers in the back, looking good. Some more peas. These guys are just starting to crack the peas. This is a different brand. I didn't mark it. I got it written down somewhere. I got to look. They're not as prolific as the other ones are. They could catch up down the road. I don't know. There's a lot of flowers at the top, but we'll have to see. More tomato plants. Now the other thing is that a lot of these heirlooms, they really want to be double stems. I mean, they are really pushing to be double stem plants. You'll see I cut, if you look at it, you'll see how strong that wants to be a double stem. You'll see this one I didn't cut, because as I started to cut them, I'm looking at them going, you know what? They really want to be double stems. So I don't know how far I'm going to take it. Normally these would go up, way up to the top of that trellis up there. And strings would be hanging down and they just wind up as they go up. But I may go double stems for a little bit and then cut off the top of a double stem and only let it produce a little bit. I don't know, future, we'll see how it goes. But a lot of these, this is my first year growing all, not actually all, but most heirlooms. I have two hybrids here. One of them is Roma and the other guy is Sweet 100. Everything else is heirloom, open pollinated. I could save the seeds and get the same plant next year. Now there's the beets over there, doing phenomenally well. Best I ever had my beets. And you'll see some of those really big bulbs in there. Nice beets. Most of them have been covered up with compost. But that one you see, and that one's probably, this one right here is probably 2 to 3 inches. Actually 3 inches, maybe 2 inches round and 3 inches long. But my wife and I, we clip a lot of these greens and eat them too. Can't do too many, but enough to make a nice salad with. The broccoli, a week later, I'm going to say tripled in size. Looking really good. And you'll see the side shoots starting to come in right there, and they'll come up and they'll meet this, like when you buy the broccoli in the store, they're going to grow and they're going to hit this. These still have 2-3 weeks to grow, so they are really going to get much bigger. As you can see this one happening a little better right here. You see those side shoots, they're going to come up and marry right to that thing. And that'll produce a just as good, you know, just as big, if not bigger, than the ones you buy in the stores. And they're all organic. Some of them don't have heads on it, or very small heads, which is okay, because this way I'm not harvesting all at the same time. There's probably, out of the 20 plants, they're all in different stages. Some much bigger, some much smaller. So there's some a little bit bigger. There's one the side shoots are starting to catch up on. And then right next to it, little guy. And then we have a couple of Havahart traps. I had a raccoon in here and he trampled all my potato plants. So these are, I've done it before. I catch them, I release them, take them down to the park, release them into the park. But they, my first year again with potatoes, they're looking very healthy. And I think, oh, let's go look in the greenhouse real quick. I have to get those nets back on soon because the cardinals will come in and just take it right out. There's my wife is, and even the neighbors have been eating from this. Doing very, very well. Doing very, very well. And we go into the greenhouse. And again, some of them just want to be double stems. And this is more what I'm used to. The single stem with the suckers that easily can be popped off. But they're mostly single stem all the way up. And then some of these guys, they just, you could see they just want to be double stems. Now, it may have been like that in the past, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know. This one is a giant Belgium, and the ones outside just blow this guy away, but he got hit with several funguses. I don't know why he's susceptible, but there's a lot more molds and problems inside a greenhouse than there are outside. So you have to really pay attention, because even these flowers here, they're not as strong or not as big or it's not as, they don't look like they're gonna take. And if you look up this plant, the next batch are way up there, which look even better. And you can also see one of them died off, shriveled up and fell off, which is not a good sign. And that could be sometimes too many nutrients, not enough nutrients, who knows? I mean, the plant is, these leaves are just, these are called potato leaf. And they are just really healthy, green, large. Oh, and then you have the Cyril's Choice. You could tell just by looking at this plant, you know that these are going to be smaller, smaller tomatoes. It's just the leaf has a different look to it. Very vibrant, really looking good. These are also, I think they're determinate. It could be semi-determinate, I don't remember. But these are going to produce a lot all at once. Small tomatoes, nothing big. But they're supposed to be very, very, very sweet. And these are also all open-pollinated. Everything in this garden has been grown from seed. I bought no plants from the store. You know, plants from the box stores. And my single lone cherry. That's a black Tartarian cherry and starting to ripen. That's the only guy that was pollinated this year. Some bee came in with some pollination that made it happen, but this black Tartarian cherry and that Queen Anne cherry are cross-pollinators. They need each other to be able to produce fruit. The problem was that guy, the Queen Anne, did not produce any flowers this year. So without flowers, this guy who had 1,000 flowers on him wasn't able to be pollinated. But these are only the second year in the ground, so they really should be working on the root system and not the fruit production. Okay, thank you.